Hi there, and welcome back to You Don't Know Her, the Mindset podcast all about creating the best life for yourself, one by design, not by default. And today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the wonderful Jessica Houseman.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, a bit nervous. It's my first podcast, but thank you for having me on here.
You're very welcome. I'm quite new to this as well, so lovely to have you here. So Jessica, you are a multi-skilled performer, I'd say, more so dancing being your main thing. Would you be able to give us kind of a quick overview of kind of that side of your career?
So I started off my training and career. I started off in Cambridge, where I trained for a year at Bodyworks, and then I went into a 3-year professional training at London Studio Centre. I studied theatre dance there, so I just learned a huge variety of dance styles, dipped into commercial dance styles, and from there things just did start to snowball a little bit. I graduated in COVID, unfortunately, so it was extremely quiet. I had a year and, I panicked. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do anything. I started to train into other career things like accounting as such. And then after the year, I got my first job. I was working at a theme park, but it was extremely fun. And from there, they started to send me on little gigs throughout the UK, dancing. After that, I made a brave move. I went to Dubai, which was extremely brave. I don't know how I did it looking back, because I just got a one-way flight with my partner. We booked a week in a hotel. I had no job. I had nowhere to live. So in that, I got there. I started texting around agencies, asking about. I finally got a contract, dancing dinner shows out there for multiple venues. And from there, I added to my skills. I became more multi-performer. So then I added aerial onto my skills. I added stilt walking. I've recently added fire performing onto it. After that, I went to Australia. We did a bit of travelling, sort of found ways to make gigs fit around my travelling. And since then, I've come back to the UK. Trying to build up.
It's a rollercoaster of a journey,
It's honestly a lot.
Yeah. But I like to take you back to, obviously, that brave move to Dubai, I think.
Yes.
The first one. That's kind of the old quote, isn't it? Life starts at the edge of your comfort zone or something. I suppose that's just scary. Just thought, you know what, I fancy this, I'm going to do it. Don't really know what's going to happen. Is that kind of what your mindset was at that stage?
Yeah. So we always knew we wanted to leave England for a while. And after working in England for about a good year in my dancing, I was just thinking, there has to be something more. I just want to see what I can do if I leave. And I'd be on Instagram, I'd see all these amazing dancers, and they're all, like, a lot of them seem to be working at Dubai, which I didn't really think about initially. And I looked into it more and more, and I was like, it could be quite good money over there, and there is a big scene for entertainment as such. And when I got there, I was absolutely amazed. It was the best thing I ever did.
Really? In what way?
Well, the lifestyle. The lifestyle, for one, was amazing. But I think it was the first time I really got to work on such a professional level. I had these amazing choreographers. Some were from the Philippines, and I was working with people from Russia, the Ukraine, and it was amazing to get to meet all these people from different countries and their different ways to work within dance and all their ideas, their cultures. It was just this huge, everything was just brought together.
It's incredible to see. I think it's something that you kind of take for granted, don't you? I think you think that your life is kind of what all life is, really, but by travelling and well, I mean, we know you're a seasoned veteran travelling.
Yes.
You spent some time over in Australia as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Travelled round. We did a little bit of, I want to say the van life. We lived more in a car. We turned the back of the car into a bed and travelled round. Got to see that a lot. tried the whole lifestyle, working for 6 months in Brisbane, living in Perth. And it was such a beautiful lifestyle.
Yeah. And do you think that lifestyle and having those experiences shaped what you've wanted to do professionally as well, do you think, seeing that side of things?
So I think before I did leave for Australia, I let my career lead my way, and I'd make my life fit around my career. But when I went to Australia, I decided I wanted to decide the life that I wanted, and then I let my career fall in place to fit my life. And it gave me a lot more freedom, actually. Before, I was in the mentality, oh, I have to do dancing and dancing only, and I have to give my whole life to dancing. And then after I began to travel, I was like, you know, I just have to do what makes me happy. And dance does make me happy, and it does make me happy, but to then fit it around other things in my life, it just became a lot more fulfilled, I'd say.
Yeah, I think that's such a fine balance, because you clearly love it. You love the dancing. You've done it, as you mentioned, you're a COVID graduate.
Yes.
Were you one of those ones that celebrated a year after
Oh my gosh, yes.
Come back for the after party?
We had to do a online farewell video.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
we were one of those.
it's so weird, isn't it, to think back at that. That was the new normal at the time.
Yes.
But I mean, not just in, because was it a dancing degree you did as well? Did you say?
Yes, in theatre dance.
Theatre dance, yeah. Because I mean, it applies to everyone. I mean, as myself, I was business graduate. It was that was my degree, and I wanted to throw myself into business. I've got friends that were finance, throwing themselves into that. It's whatever it kind of was. It's like, right, I've done my 3 years now, or 4 if you don't your sandwich year. I really want to just go at this 100%, and then you can kind of lose a bit of the passion along the way, can't you?
Yeah.
So it's good that you've seen. Because you were doing contracting, you were doing some shows straight after, shortly after graduating. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got those opportunities after graduating as well?
Okay, so actually, my first opportunity was whilst I was studying at the theme park. I did do a season there originally. It was at Flamingo Land. And it was for a pirate show, and it was just so fun. It was really fun. So then after we graduated in COVID, I messaged and I went back there. From then onwards, the agency supplied dancers to Flamingo Land, but they also had a branch in the agency where they supplied tribute singers and an 80s show and all these different shows, which would then tour around the UK. It would go, well, anywhere. I mean, I could be in Bognor Regis one day and then up in Scotland the next day. It was really interesting, but you'd spend a lot of your life on the road. You'd be driving for 6 hours. You would go there to do a 1 hour gig where I'd be dancing for these singers, and then 6 hours on the road back.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? What you have to kind of, it sounds like, when you just think of it as people not in that world, kind of think, oh, it's just all fun, it's just on stage, and that's all you ever do. It's not actually all the hard work that goes into it. And you've looked into kind of things behind the scenes as well, like choreography and directing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so especially in my college days when I was training, I was super creative, and I just really wanted to try my hand in choreography. I had all these ideas. I'd listen to all this inspiring music, and I'd be like, no, I have to make something out of this. I think my first choreography piece was called Desire. I co-choreographed it with a girl named Leah. She's amazing. And it was more contemporary styled dance. And that is really where I did start off my dance journey. It was more contemporary style at the beginning. I worked with 6 lovely dancers, and they really worked so hard. I combined my gymnastic skills into it, so we got a lot of lifts in there, and it made it through to a spring showcase spring showcase piece, which I was really proud of. Amazing. And then for my dissertation, I was really inspired by the World War II, actually. So I decided to look at interviews for people who had fought in the war, and just anyone who'd lived through it. I wanted to get their perspective. I decided to do a dance piece through film for that. It was probably a 10-minute movie, where I took their memories and their words and I turned it into movement. I cast dancers who were really interested in that theme, and we spent a lot of time really doing the research behind it all.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear. I think it's those connections. I think the power of, well, you know, making the film as well, and that movement, and obviously, you know, skipping ahead quite a bit probably from that section, but you're looking more into that screen work now, potentially going into acting and further as well. So is would you even look back at something like that as kind of telling a story? Is that captivated you? Is that kind
absolutely, yeah. I think telling a story, that's what brings people into entertainment. You want to make your own story, even if it's not clear. I think there's always a story there.
Yeah, amazing.
In anything you see.
Yeah, completely agree. I've always been story driven from anything I've seen. Unless it's a true story, like war you mentioned or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's harrowing, but it's nice to get that out there, isn't it? So acting. I mean, we met on the set of a feature film recently. So, what can you tell us a little bit about the role you played?
That was so fun. So I played. It was a very small role. It was the role of Sophie. The film it was so funny reading the script. It was so many random little funny things going on. I think was it a maraca I had, or a tambourine or something like that. We were just in a serious corporate setting, and I just have to randomly pass this tambourine over. It was mad. I don't know how much am I allowed to give away at this point.
You can say what you want to say.
Okay.
You can work with it.
There was a guy dressed as a pepper.
Yeah.
It was fun, and it was definitely new as well to have all the cameras there. I had worked as an extra previously, so I had been on a set and seen it, but actually having words and a camera in my face, even though it was only a few words, it was like, oh, okay. Now's my time.
It was great. It's great to start at that and to be immediately on a set like that, and I think that comes from your transferable skills from outside of the filmmaking as well, that you do acting, you've done acting through your dancing, and you've done acting through different contracts you've worked on as well. So I think, and I completely agree with you, that being on a set like that with all the craziness that was happening, it's a completely different world. It's what you've got to apply your skills to, and see the guys in the pepper suit and see all this sort of thing. So was that your first opportunity on a set, or have you been on other projects as well?
It was my first opportunity on a set where I had to speak.
Okay.
I have been on sets such as, I think it was ITV's Beowulf and Vera, but I never spoke. Like, I would interact with the main characters, but never speaking. So it was such a difference, actually, because my whole career, I guess, I'm used to doing things silently and never speaking, and then It was very new, actually.
Yeah, it's nice that you've got a voice as well, not just the dancing. So that's that. I mean, I take it went well, and you'd be looking to do more speaking roles going forward.
Yes, I do. I really do want to do more. When I was training at college, I felt acting did always come a lot more naturally to me, more the monologues, the screen side of acting. I always struggled with the theatre side of acting though, so I definitely do want to move it more in the direction of being on set and TV. I definitely have more of an interest there for it.
I think I'm the same. It's more of a controlled environment, isn't it?
It is,
you can make a bit more connections and not feel the weight of thousands of eyes watching you.
It's not live.
You can always be saved by the editor.
Yeah,
amazing. So there's just a million things I want to ask you, kind of based on all that, because it's such a varied background you've got. But if we can take you right back to I mean, even before studying at university, there's obviously been years of college or pre that of where you've thought, right, I want to dance. What was it? Was it? Did you want to express yourself from a young age, do you think, or what was that?
Well, it actually, interestingly, I didn't start dancing until I was the age of 16.
Oh, really?
So I grew up in quite a small market town. There was some dance schools, but not really. Like they were just a bit further afield. And then when I was 16, a dance school did finally open up where I lived and I could walk to it. And I went to my first dance class, and the teacher stopped. She spoke to me. She's called Claire, brilliant woman. I've got a lot to thank her for. And I said to her, oh, I'm considering maybe doing jazz dance classes. And she said, yes, good, you need to. She said, you need to. But she went, not in a bad way, because you're good, you should do it. And I didn't realise being a professional dancer was actually a career at that point. Believe it or not, being at 16, I just didn't really think of it that way. And then she turned around and said, you could do this professionally if you want. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'll maybe look at dance courses at college, see how far it can take me. Yeah. Before I joined the dance school, I just used to make up dances in my bedroom. It was just, it was always there. There was always something creative in me.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it all, and that's beautiful. I think we all need a Claire in our lives.
Yeah, we do.
to push you in that way.
Yes.
I had the same thing. I think that, because I mean, you say, I was late to the game. I was 16.
Yes.
So that sounds quite young to a lot of people, but not at the time. You do think there's a lot of much younger dancers starting a lot earlier than 16, but it's still great to think, right, that's my passion, I'm going to kind of go for it. So would that be your advice to sort of people that are kind of, they've got an interest in something, but they don't know how to do it? Maybe just get involved and just mix with the right circles. Would that be your advice? Just go find out, because you'll regret not doing it. At least if you went and found out, you can say, okay, yes, I can make it work, or okay, I can't make it work, but I went and found out. You won't have that what if lingering. Yeah, completely. Definitely. I hear the same thing from so many people. Just whether it's people not starting their careers till the 40s or whatever it may be. Just kind of just always wanting to progress and learn, I suppose, and pick up the skills and experience life, and whether that's getting a PADI qualification. Oh my gosh. Let's put it this way, it's never too late. You can always keep learning. Recently got qualified as a PADI diving instructor. That was actually my partner, that was his thing. He really wanted to do it. I never wanted to scuba dive ever. I tried it once when I was 14 and I hated it so much. I panicked. The instructor had to hold my hand the whole way through it, and I swore I would never ever do it again. But then my partner, he really, really had such an interest in it, like nothing else. And I thought, you know what, this is my opportunity to actually do something together and to have a shared hobby. So I forced myself through it, and I think the first 5 times I hated it. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And then I think one day I just said to myself, Jess, you're going to have to find a way to enjoy this. And I just relaxed. And then I just finally saw like all the beautiful things undersea that was in front of me. And from then on, I went, okay, I'll keep getting my qualifications. And then I became a qualified dive master at the end of it. So you never know, even skills you don't have an interest in, you might end up enjoying. I think that's the thing. I think it's great that you've not fallen at the first hurdle. The first lesson one. I don't like this. I don't like this feeling of suffocating or claustrophobia or whatever it is. But it's pushing yourself beyond that, and I think that's something we can all learn from and think. I had that a lot when I was young. I was trying my hand at different things and thinking, I'm not the best in the world at this, but no one is when they first start. And you still got to develop the skills and practice, putting your 10,000 hours, as they always say. I really think the best skill you can learn is overcoming your fear. If you can learn how to overcome your fear, there's a lot of things you can do. Yeah, completely agree. So we've spoke about the past, about the where you've started from, the present day, kind of where we are at the moment in your career. So for Jess, for the future, what's your big project? What would you love to work towards? Do you have a goal, or are you just kind of seeing where life takes you? That is a big question mark, because I've always gone where life takes me. So yes, I do really, really want to start trying my hand in acting. It's always been in the background, and I guess I always wanted to see dancing through first. But now I think I do want to see if I can start doing more and more acting, get
show reel together. Acting reel.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm got used to saying show reel for my dancing. Acting reel together for that. I do want to go into choreography more and see if I can work on movement direction in sets. I just want to eventually do something that's going to take me away from more the physical side of dancing in the future, just because injuries, they're more prone to them now.
Yeah.
So
The father time gets us all, doesn't it?
That's it.
But no, amazing. I think that's a lovely place to probably end it on. So my final question for you, Jess, would be if the people want to find you and learn more about yourself, where can you point them towards? Are you on socials?
Yes, I am on social media. Instagram, you can follow me at Jessica Houseman. House and man. That's how it's spelt. That would be the best place to find me.
Brilliant, perfect. I'll drop that on the socials as well. But cheers, thank you very much, Jess.
Thank you.
Cheers, thank you very much.